Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the DisasterMinds podcast. I am Micah.
I'm Joel.
I'm Will.
I'm Noah.
And here we are again. After we all introduce ourselves, I will admit I never know what to say next.
Oh.
It gets kind of awkward for me. I'm like, ah.
Do you know what you should say next?
Don't worry, I've got plenty.
That there's a trailer out for Soul Surfer Part 2.
Oh, hell
no, you're kidding.
There isn't. I am firm on that idea. We got to watch Soul Surfer live on the podcast.
Is there actually a part 2?
No.
Okay.
But there should be where
where
she grows her arm back.
No.
I think where she loses her other arm would be better.
Yo, that
Right.
would be better. That'd probably be more
one's
realistic.
gonna
This one's
happen.
more like
And Carrie
following
Underwood.
one's more like following the shark story.
Yo,
like-
it's called Jaws. They did
you know-
it already.
He's like, I
It's
was
called Soul Swimmer.
no one ever asked about me, but I was allergic to her arm. Like I
He
broke
ate
out in
an
hives.
anaphylactic shock because of her arm.
Human
And
bones.
then Carrie
aren't-
Underwood started yelling at me.
Human bones aren't meant for like sharks to digest, so he probably had a lot of health issues following that event.
Right.
So
After
true.
getting an arm.
right.
Poor
He's
shark.
not used to that type of diet.
Yeah.
At least
Well,
that girl
don't-
surfed again. The
wait.
shark probably never ate another person ever
Don't-
again in its life.
Don't.
Poor guy.
That's a good thing though.
No, not for the shark.
But it is
Yeah,
if he's
there's
allergic
more-
to the
There's
human
other
arm.
food in the sea for a shark though, other than a human.
Yeah. This is a lot of fish in the sea, but another meaning.
And like the actual meaning, there is more fish than
Right.
humans.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, is there?
Well, we're not fish, so there better be more fish.
Well, I've never
than us.
counted them.
Have you tried?
No, but I feel like if you go, to
Dude,
one coast
the
and you start
depths of
counting
the
and you move to
ocean
another coast,
Are more
it could be the same
unexplored than
fish.
Space.
Yeah, I understand that, but
So
I
it's
think
like, there's
if you
probably
go
a
deep enough, there's
fuck
not
ton
fish
of
down there.
fish.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Dude. There's
Oh, they're
probably
not fish, but there's some sort
there's
of.
probably
life.
more fish than stars.
What do you mean they're not fish? What else would they be?
more.
Well, is
fish
a
than
shrimp a
stars.
fish?
No, that's a crustacean.
Okay, well then there you go.
Fuck.
That pretty much answers my question.
No, okay. All right. Well,
We got off topic fast.
I
That's my
already.
bad,
All
boys.
right. Yeah, we did. It's okay. So,
Kevin Jonas.
here we are. We're back for another episode, and we also watched another episode of Halo, the series on Paramount. We covered episode 2 now, and I think we're just kind of talk about that for a minute, kind of see what we thought about it. I want Joel to tell me real quick, in like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, what you thought.
Okay, well I can do it in about.
Less than 20 minutes.
I can
please.
do it in like 1,000th of the time. I wasn't really paying very good attention.
All right. Well, what did you-
basically.
Oh
Oh.
no, you actually have stuff to say. Go ahead.
Very well attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I meant. Basically, Master Chief still he found his old friend that he let go, but he didn't want to let go because he was going to break the rule to do it, and he doesn't like breaking rules. And then he went back to Halsey. That's pretty much what I saw.
Wait. My question for you though, because that's actually what you said is actually it makes for a good question now. Why weren't you paying attention? Did the episode not captivate you? Like, was it boring for you?
So I broke my hard drive a while back, and I was just trying to look up some information on how to fix it. And that was more captivating to me than the episode 2 of Halo.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get it, because much how like you're trying to uncover the secret of your broken hard drive, Master Chief is trying to uncover the secret of the device he found.
Yeah, only my hard drive's real, and and this device just got it. I don't care. And the whole scene with that crazy dude made no sense to me. I really don't understand
Did
what
that
happened.
make sense
during
to you
that.
because you weren't paying attention? I don't mean that like.
No. Explain it to me then. Like I would love it.
We'll get
Really,
to that.
the whole point of that episode was to get to that crazy guy, for him to tell us like it could be the key, so that Master Chief could go back to like where he was when he left the first.
Okay, all
episode.
right. Well, hey,
Right.
that's very good. Well, I want you to take over then. What
It's
did you think of the episode, and like what did you take from it? Because you seem to
a lot of build. That's what I took away.
okay, a lot of build for like what like something that has been fulfilled yet of what's going to happen.
I think to get us to a place that it could have taken us less time to get to.
Okay,
Yeah. It was a really long-winded episode, in my opinion.
I
Not
agree.
a-
It could have been a 25-minute episode.
yeah.
a lot of dialogue in this one. I will agree with you on that.
Not
Okay.
that, and I mean,
yeah, but
like,
a
it's-
lot of nonsense.
And no
Yeah.
action. I
Yeah,
thought it'd be
a lot
more
of-
Master Chief kicking ass.
I think we're gonna be disappointed.
He's more like Master Queef, man. Like he hasn't done anything so far. It's just horrible.
Absolutely correct.
It's
Noah.
true. It's
Um,
accurate though.
Well, okay,
He's taking off his armor a lot.
Very
Yeah, he's taking off his
That's
armor
true.
and fought like 2 elites. It's like,
Yeah.
come on. In Halo, the video games, he would have bodied like 100 guys by now at
It's
least.
true. I would have if I was playing.
I don't remember any
so
missions
true.
in the game that are just like, hey, talk to these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously,
Inquire-
Master Chief
right.
doesn't talk.
Wait, did you skip the cutscenes then, or?
I mean,
talks
the
to Cortana.
cutscenes
There's-
didn't last
true.
54 minutes.
Okay.
There's
All
a
right.
line in the episode that I thought was kind of funny. Is he spends like so he's on the run from the UNSC at this point, running with that girl that he's supposed to have killed, and he like goes and finds his old friend that he used to that he let go. Like he gave him 5 minutes to escape, even though he didn't want him to because he was breaking the rules and that's not his way. So he went to go find him, and then after that, he's like, "I really need to trust you right now. So like, can I trust you?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can trust me." He's like, "Oh yeah, well, you're also here and alive because of him. So like, obviously, you trust him to a degree at this point. Like he's the guy you went to outside of the UNSC. Like you have to trust him a little bit. But okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Now we got that cleared away.
He
Thank
does.
goodness.
He does lead that line with, "You're the only person I know outside
Right,
of the
right.
UNSC."
Right.
It's true. Yeah. Okay.
And it's like for like this super weapon that all he's supposed to do is kill elites. Like he's just doing a lot of talking and like dilly dallying.
well, they're doing a lot
I
of
was hoping for a little more action. in
yeah, a
this
lot of
show.
character development, which
I mean,
interesting.
I get like it's nice to have a good story, but I mean the Halo games themselves are good stories, and they're pretty much all action.
Fair
you know?
enough.
Like
Absolutely.
it just
Yeah.
feels like
So
long-winded.
Oh, I had another important thing about the episode.
I want you to get to that, but I also want to ask you, Will, because
Yeah.
this based on the segue we made to here. Just real quick, what's your take on that that scene then in the prison cell? And I'll explain here in just a minute what we're exactly talking about. But what's your take on that?
The one where there's like the prison cell. It's not really a prison cell
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's unlocked.
Yeah,
They're just
exactly.
like
And then-
screen doors.
There is no lock.
And then they go in, and the guy's like survived a Covenant abduction, but he's like insane.
Right.
And then they're like, "What is this thing?
Yeah.
This artifact? That one?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So they ask the guy what it is basically, and he gives them like a lot of cryptic nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
like sputterings and mutterings, and then he like grabs Master Chief and starts getting to him emotionally because Master Chief starts to feel emotions. The guy
Because he
picks
was
up-
given a smiley face stamp.
yeah, because he got tagged by this kid.
Yeah.
I got tagged.
And then
It's like when in Halo you make your clan tag. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
That
yeah,
was it.
I was thinking more like Magneto.
that was like
Yeah.
if we had written 69 on each other and been like,
we're the
"We're
clan.
close, we're friends."
It's like, man, I felt that.
Yeah.
I can relate.
Single teardrop.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but so this crazy dude basically reveals to them that like, oh, this is a weapon only able to be used by quote unquote the blessed ones, who are, he says, human but more than human, very cryptically.
Mm-hmm.
And so Master Chief's like, well, that means that I'm more than human.
Right.
And then he starts to like get emotionally rattled, and he like grabs guys like, who am I? Or
questions
whatever.
you, yeah.
Tries to go for the Oscar, almost lands it, doesn't quite, and then they peace
Yeah, it was
out.
like a slap in the face.
They peace out, and then they have this
Too soon.
back and forth about loyalty, and it's like, what is loyalty?
Yeah.
You're loyal. You're not loyal. And then the guy's like, no, you're not. And then they keep walking, and then he's like, can I trust you?
Yeah.
That's basically that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And so what's the big question you had then?
The big, not question, just thing is Cortana gets introduced was the big detail in
Right.
this one.
Oh, you just wanted to mention that. Okay.
Yeah.
In a very unusual way from what I think we're used to in the video game. So far, they've depicted Cortana as, yes, an AI figure, but more so as a product of cloning
Well,
who will interface with the Spartans.
because we've established in this, we kind of established like why there was so much tiptoeing in the first episode around Cortana. It's because this is going to be the first. We've also established this as a separate storyline. So the way they are introducing it is like, oh, she is a way to kind of mentally control Spartans and other people.
Right.
But the prototype to getting her as a general intelligence is like by cloning, and so that's the ethical minefield that
Yeah.
she's trying to dance around.
I have a feeling though, like the way this show's heading, like basically, you know how people are always like, oh, it'd be really neat if you could play a video game from the perspective of the bad guy. It's like, okay, well, watch this Halo series and then play the Halo franchise again.
Yeah.
Now you'll be playing him as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That might
It's like
be
they're
a good
just switching it up. It's like everything he's doing for the UNSC is actually just bad crap because
Which,
he's being
you know,
manipulated.
I would say I would have a much bigger grievance with if they hadn't established this is not canon
no,
with
I
the
know
video
that.
games,
I just mean
Yeah.
like it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist and you can't watch it and it's like
Yeah.
an actual produced thing.
it's
that's
its
for Halo.
own, yeah. It's something quite interesting for sure. No, what throughout the episode, what's your take on it? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of what's already been said. I mean, It was. I felt like it was pretty long winded, like Will said earlier. But I think it's cool that they're introducing Cortana. I don't recall her being a clone in the games. That wasn't a thing,
No,
right?
it's
just
like,
she's
yeah.
it's just another curveball the show's throwing at us.
The thing that I have a problem with is that like AI is a common thing like right now that's being worked on in our real world. This is supposed to be 500 years in the future.
So
and
for
they're
them
like,
to imagine
the best
that-
way we could figure it out.
And it's like we breakthrough technology.
Yeah.
Siri. And it's like,
Right.
all right, they made that 300 years.
Right, well, no,
500
but they
years
have like
ago.
way more advanced stuff than that, and it's like, okay, well, we can only do this if we suck the soul out of a soulless being.
Yeah, or whatever.
They discovered hyperdrive that's described best as a yard, but they can't manufacture AI yet.
Oh,
It's more of
yeah.
that like bullshit we talked about last time, where it's like, oh, the heroes aren't actually heroes.
And
Right.
Everything's postmodern. There's nothing where it's like anyone's good or evil. Everyone's just kind of shitty.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it was just that was another theme in the episode from the last episode that they kind of continued, and it's like that's like my grievance with it. And most stuff these days, it's just like, you know, no one's actually a good guy. Everyone's got to have skeletons in their closet, which I know is true in real life, but that's not the purpose
That's
of
not why
stories.
we. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Absolutely.
The thing about Noah mentioned this while we were watching the episode too. This popped into my head when they're in this big meeting discussing like how to get 117 back. And they're like, well, we've got Cortana. And Halsey kind of fires us off without permission from her supervisor. And everyone's like, well, we know that, like, you wrote these papers and yada, yada. And the big problem with that is that it's unethical. And Noah's like, what, like, kidnapping people and genetically
and
modifying them to be
right.
killers?
yeah, it's like we
we
won't clone
decide-
people. That's where we draw the line. But if you want to abduct children and train them and like do
suppress
experiments on
all
them,
of their
Right.
memories.
like you can experiment on kids but not clones. It's like, what's the
Yeah.
ethical guidelines that these people are following?
It's kind of backwards.
Yeah,
No, they know what they're doing, though. I mean, they know what they're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'd prefer if you were to, do these experimentations on human children first. It's well established that clones don't have souls, but it just feels
We want the stakes to be higher
like-
right off the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was a very interesting episode from the first episode.
Got you all choked up.
It did. Kind of emotional about
I
it.
cried
I did.
when I
You
saw
did.
the
You
Little
did.
Caesars pizza on the commercial. I was like, oh, that's good.
Kind of like
made us
Noah
go buy
said
one right
going
away.
into it, he was really hoping for a lot more action that we didn't get because the first episode really kicked off with a bang. A lot of action, gunfire. You saw
That's
the
true, and it
Spartans
went to
right in
nothing.
action. And in the second episode, which I think is a very bold move, they immediately throttled it back and said, we're going to focus on who these people really are. And that's not a bad move, but I think that early into the season, it's a little bit bold, you know?
Right. The most action you saw was from a mentally different person.
Yeah, who tried to hide himself underneath
Yeah. And it was
floor.
mostly just him running back and forth between the wall and the floor.
Yeah, and rambling, absolutely rambling. Yeah, and I more on that point about him, like okay, I'm gonna set up the episode real quick for everybody because I know we've been just pitter-patting around the whole thing. So basically, what happens is it picks up right after Master Chief and Quan or whatever her name is leave, and she's they're traveling, and then they get up to this, they enter into this astral field, and they go to this planet. Or actually, it's not really a planet. It's a city that's on an asteroid, and Master Chief meets up with an old friend, and he tries to confide in him, and tells him, "I need to trust you because I know what's going on here." And that's when we kind of got into the whole dilemma of who can be trusted, who cannot be trusted. This episode really focused on trust and loyalty, which is funny because the episode started very plainly with like that being questioned by both parties, because it started with Master Chief stopping his friend from escaping or trying to, but not really succeeding in it. And I don't know, that was a very interesting take because, like we said before, this Master Chief that we're watching is very different from who we grew up with in the games.
Yeah.
Master Chief was very loyal to the T. He didn't diverge from anything. He got the job done. And the thing is, he didn't have to question what the UNSC was doing because they weren't doing anything wrong. And again,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they
really,
still did the cloning and the shit
thing-
on the kids, but
right.
the thing
Well,
was,
okay, you're
he's
right.
made
that
his peace with that in the games.
Yeah.
You know?
it's like, it's all a matter of perspective anyways, because like they're being attacked by alien species. This is their reaction, right or wrong. It doesn't matter. They're being attacked, and this is the reaction.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The whole, like, we got to find, like, everything wrong with the system. I don't need it.
Yeah, because even like look at any war, like Desperate Times call, like, you know,
right
or wrong. Like, it's obviously in most cases wrong, but it's like people resort to that kind of stuff. And
well, I mean,
when it's war,
that would
like
be
your
like,
life is on the line.
Well,
you know?
yeah, I mean, like, you know, that would even down to a smaller level of just like if you were getting mugged on the street and you didn't fight back or something like that. It's like, but if you did fight back, well, you shouldn't have punched that hard. Like, you're kind of a
shouldn't have kicked
jerk
him in
for
the
that.
nuts.
Yeah, it's like okay,
I just
well,
did what I could to get out of there,
well,
man.
I was just walking down the street and I wasn't bothering anybody and I got mugged. Like that,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, like, this is what happened. Like, I don't know. It's getting really frustrating to just go and nitpick every little thing after the fact. Like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. It's like, you don't know. You weren't there.
Yeah,
That's fair.
But that's kind of my opinion on that. So.
Yeah, it was very interesting for a second episode. I mean, yet again, like we said last time, I'll watch the third one because I'm kind of interested.
Oh
to
yeah,
see
I'm
where
gonna
they're
finish
take
this out.
But it has me.
Yeah, at this point, it's been 2 episodes. We might as well watch the next
Right.
7.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, we haven't
But
invested that much time. yet.
I think we talked about this a little bit to length in our last podcast, but even again, I keep, and maybe it's my own fault for going to it with this mindset, but I keep seeing that there's a Mandalorian complex with this. Because it's like
This one I didn't see as much. I was
Yeah, I
trying.
didn't feel like the first episode. I thought for sure.
I was trying to draw those lines since like that was the bold claim a lot of people had about the first episode, and then I was
Right.
like, they are kind of starting to. He is going back to the UNSC, being like, all right, this is a weapon. I'm turning myself in.
Well, he's
Right.
got
What do I
Grogu.
do?
He's got rid of Grogu a lot faster in this.
He,
Well,
he
here-
offloaded
yeah,
that baby
the-
so quick.
Yeah, the reason I felt that way is because though he didn't, deliver the bounty, right? He still offloaded Quan. So at the end of the episode, he had Quan stay with his friend Sorensen, and say, or Soren, I actually can't remember his name now all of a sudden.
Soren.
Soren, sorry, I was wrong on all 3 counts. So he said, I need you to watch after her. I'm going to turn
I
myself
need to be able
in.
to trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I
And so
trust
then he
you?
went back to Halsey. So the reason I kind of found that the Mandalorian complex was because one, I know it's their own series, but they're breaking protocol because he's literally stripped himself of his armor completely in this episode, which is something that we never saw.
And he's wearing his helmet for like 5 minutes.
But I don't know
yeah.
that is a rule.
I don't even know
for
why
them.
he put his helmet on. In
at
the
that
first
point.
place.
I know, right?
The only time he puts his helmet on is when he's like getting on the Pelican to go, and then when he walks off the same Pelican, he doesn't have his
Takes
helmet
it
on.
off. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's so
No, he's in
wild.
handcuffs.
He's in
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and he's
He's
stripped
out of his
armor
Yeah.
again.
They
Yeah,
stripped him
it's
down.
just so I don't know. Again, I think for me, I have to remove the fact that it is, or I have to tell myself that it is its own thing, and it's not to be really compared to what I grew up playing, because it's ultimately it's not the same. It's a different story. It's a different take on this franchise.
Yeah.
Franchise that I watch.
I will
play.
say though, one way it is keeping with Mandalorian, at least season 1, is that it's really going nowhere with the plot. So
Fair.
That's
fair.
true. Do you know what really broke immersion for me? The
What?
fact that Pablo Schreiber is a seminarian for the Catholic Diocese of
Oh my
Wichita.
gosh.
It just really broke immersion for me. If you look at his picture on IMDb, tell me that's not a seminary.
Can you say that legally?
I don't know if I can, and I'm sorry, Bishop, but he just looks like one of our guys.
And at this point, we're going to redact that.
Yeah, I didn't say
Not
that
true.
actually.
Yeah, you guys. What you guys
The
heard was
cops
an
are coming for you
illusion.
right
He
now.
is a seminarian for the Catholic Diocese of Eastboro. Which, if you're not from Wichita, that makes no sense, and I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that was not as funny as I thought it'd be. Let's get back to the show here, boys. Come on.
Noah, my friend, I got a question for you.
No.
10 seconds.
Okay, shit.
Go.
What? Okay, fuck.
Name 3 non-conventional superpower movies.
What does that even mean?
9.
Basically,
Eight.
no. Time has not started.
Wait.
yet.
I need clarification.
never-
what does that
he's
even
never
mean?
given
Not
clarification
Marvel.
before.
Oh, yeah.
Not Marvel. Not DC.
You have 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
10 seconds. Go.
Green Hornet, Watchmen. Oh, that's technically DC though. Green Hornet.
5.
Fucking Green Hornet. That's all I got.
7.
Incredibles.
8.
Oh shit. The
9.
Boys. That's a show. Does that count?
I'll let it count.
You're gonna count it? Okay.
I'll
Oh,
count
he's
it.
so
Okay.
nice to Noah
Okay.
in this game.
Yeah, it's because I'm new to
I
this
went
country.
to Jumper, Push, and Hancock. Those were my
Jumper.
Those are
Push.
way
That's
better than
good.
mine.
Those are really good.
Except for Incredibles and Green Hornet.
Incredibles.
Seth
Incredibles-
Rogen was in that movie, man.
Yeah.
It was.
Is Green Hornet not DC? Or
It's-
something?
No,
It's-
it's Dark Horse.
like
Oh,
the
okay.
It's like
Umbrella
the-
Academy.
Yeah. Who was
basically.
his like co-star in that? It was like some Asian.
It was
dude, I
the
think.
dude who played
There's
Zulu
also-
in the new Star Trek movies.
Say-
Did you guys say Unbreakable
Yeah.
and like those?
Oh,
movies?
that was a
didn't-
good one. That was a good
Any
one.
M Night movie
Yeah.
Yeah, any M Night
with
movie.
someone who has an ability.
It's magic how terrible he makes those movies.
Hey, I got another question for you guys. I'm gonna move on from Noah just completely just embarrassing himself for a minute.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Hey, so I wanted to ask you guys this for a while, but I haven't found the courage to bring it up.
Uh-oh.
What
Well,
is
I'm gonna
it?
start with you because I think you might be the more creative one in this field. This might be more up your alley.
Who are you talking to?
Will.
I thought so.
said Will.
Just confirming.
Okay.
Okay.
I want you to rewrite a story for me. Doesn't have to be very long, but it has to be better than what it was. All right?
Okay.
Rewrite Indiana Jones in the Crystal Skull.
Didn't we do that?
Did you rewrite it already?
We had a whole episode where we broke that down.
Rewrite The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Oh,
Which one was that? Was that the very
The
last
that's
one?
Second.
that's the worst movie.
This
The
Ever
worst one
made.
in the entire saga.
No, it's the worst movie ever
episode
made.
episode
So
8.
true. Worse than
Yes,
Seal.
that'd be correct. Second to
Okay, so she's standing there. It starts. She's standing there.
Who's
hold-
she?
Who's she?
Who's
uh,
she?
Ray
Leia?
Palpatine Skywalker, and she
She's
is.
not-
Oh, the hyphenation.
and
She's a feminist.
she's still on the island. It picks up right at the end of episode 7, and she's holding the lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
And Mark Hamill goes up and he takes it from her to continue this shot. And instead of just like throwing it, he's like, sorry, I had something in my throat for the longest time. And then like continues, he's like, the force is strong with you. We could do this. And then I would have said cut, and then I would have gotten a different job.
Wait,
And
what? Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Elaborate on that part. You would have only directed the first.
No, he's
2
Luke in
minutes?
this scenario, and he would have gotten a different job, and that's how the Jedi would have ended.
Well,
It would've
that's
been
how
the Last
the movie
Jedi.
went.
I was
because
Ryan
he-
Johnson, and I would have been like, I'm gonna take up knitting, I think, or like
Yeah.
anything else,
Galaxies.
So
Maybe
you're-
I'll go back to murder mysteries.
or I'll go hit up. Yeah, something I could do right,
So you
like
think
really well
So you're telling me that movie
from start to finish.
could
just
not
didn't-
have been better.
It couldn't have been worse. I'd have been like, what cool gimmicks do we have? It's like, it's really cool. The Salt Planet, we never saw that in the other Star Wars movies.
Except
It's
they
like
made it
red.
look like
Hoth.
Hoth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you find out that it's not like Hoth. It's closer to Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
They
Like-
did that red sand thing just
Right.
so people didn't think it was snow, and it's like,
Right.
oh, it's
Exactly
a little
what it
different.
was.
Well, it's salt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it looks like snow.
like
It's,
Himalayan
supposed
salt.
to look like Hoth, obviously. Just a
Okay.
shittier
I
version.
thought
like
so
that.
because the
And,
bunkers and the way they were moving up to
And
it.
that-
like,
freaking fight scene in the throne room is the worst fighting choreography in the
well,
history of movies.
yeah, but
man.
but also like the really
Pretty bad.
to me, one of the most upsetting parts about them. Well, no, actually, I shouldn't say that. There's so much about the movie I hate. One of a thing about that movie, that'll work, is that the big bad guy that they're like hyping up, like up to this point, like Snoke,
Yep.
Bitch.
Supreme Chancellor Snoke. Well, whether or not he is, like that was the easiest death scene ever. And like,
Yeah.
first off, what the hell is the point of having the Force if you can't sense that that's about to happen?
yes,
and, like,
that's what I thought too, man.
like-
It's like
Mike. Okay. So
Okay, all right, okay.
going
but she's like,
going-
I'm not going to defend the movie.
going back to the original, the question of like rewrite this movie. It's already in the middle of like a plane that's about to crash. So I don't
Because
know.
of The Force
I don't know if I
Awakens?
could rewrite it in such a way that would make it better, since they already set it up to be, Palpatine is the big bad guy, so none of it matters.
Wait. They didn't set up Palpatine to be the bad guy though until
they
until
were trying to make Kylo,
until
but
J.J.
like,
Abrams
but-
came back involved.
Do you know what the most disappointing part of that series was? When Kylo Ren takes off the helmet, you're like, that's what he looks like?
You know what?
Like, that's the bad guy? He looks horrible.
You know what? I actually the thing I hate about the
his
newest trilogy the
voice.
most is that the movie I remember the most is the one I dislike. Like I don't really remember.
well, the
anything
other
that-
two aren't great either. 7 was
No,
alright,
that's-
but it was
that's
just
true.
like a remake of 4.
Right.
And then Rise of Skywalker was, like, absolutely horrendous in its own right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Last Jedi, it was just, like,
It was better than
stupidly
Last
bad.
Jedi.
And then Rise of Skywalker was just like, okay, really? You're going to bring back the
Yeah.
bad guy from the original trilogy?
Yeah. No,
You
exactly.
know?
Like that was the best they could do, even though they set up this dude who was gonna be the next villain or whatever. Which, first of all, I think that they should just move away from the whole Skywalker thing.
Yep.
Second of all,
At this point, yes.
Second of all, yeah, no, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, that's just a quick note. But they brought back a guy who was dead because that was the only way, like, they could redeem this trilogy. It's like
it's also partly because J.J. Abrams had a general idea of what he wanted to do, and then Ryan Johnson was like, I'm gonna just do whatever the fuck I want.
Right, and I don't have
J.J. Abrams comes back to his mess and has to fix it.
I don't have a problem with like new Force ability being like discovered also, but it's like
not by someone who's new to the Force.
Sure, but it's just like frustrating. It's like the thing that you brought like would have ended every issue that they had up, like to cause this.
Well, okay, here's
future, to cause this,
Okay, so we're totally going away from the question I asked, but that's okay because this is sparking new conversation. That's fine. I like this actually. Here's a thought I had. Here's a theory. I don't know if this is really a theory, but okay, let's think about this. So, back in episode 3, all right. Really back from episode 2, but on to episode 3. The main point of it was Anakin Skywalker. He had experienced too much loss in his life, right? And he was seeking Palpatine as a way to no longer have that loss.
He's giving him something that no one else will give him.
Which is what? It's the ability to keep the ones you love from dying, right? So Force healing, if you will. So it's been very heavily theorized that Palpatine himself, though he said that he had uncovered the secret of it, he really didn't, right? He just told Anakin that as a way to coerce him.
Coerce.
Man,
or coax.
Coax or coerce. You combine them.
I discombined the two of those. Whatever. He
Coax
brought him coercia. He brought him to his side by telling him that we can do. I have done it, and then he's like, oh well, actually, by the way, I haven't. We're gonna uncover it together.
Well, it's just that common like the foreshadowing was misinterpreted.
Absolutely,
basically.
You're absolutely right. So I'm wondering if maybe later on, Palpatine hadn't discovered it, and because Rey's father was a clone of Palpatine, which was just Palpatine himself, had he uncovered it, and the reason she had the ability to do it, I'm not defending the movies, the reason she had the ability to do it was because it was like instilled in her, right? That's a question I have for you guys. I'm like, what do you think?
Soul Surfer 2.
Well, if you look at Legends stuff, which I get isn't canon anymore, but there was like a Darth Plagueis novel that I actually listened to on Audible, and like Darth Plagueis was obviously Sidious' master. Yeah. And he spends his whole life trying to figure out how to raise people from the dead.
Right.
And that's where Palpatine finds a weak spot to kill him.
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't think Palpatine necessarily knew the power.
But also even after the fact?
I don't know, because in Legends, another thing that happens is Palpatine does clone himself, and that's actually a thing where Luke Skywalker tracks him down, actually flirts with the dark side a bit. So in Legends, there's a little more precedent for it. They just didn't do it as shitty as they did in the movies.
Because then also in Legends, there's a clone of Luke Skywalker that was taken from... So in episode 5, when Luke lost his hand, in Legends, Palpatine found his severed hand and used it to clone Anakin. Now here, going deeper into that, there was a cutscene, a deleted scene. Oh, geez. I want to say Mark Hamill was involved, so I want to say it must have been episode 8, but it was episode 8. Fuck, no, it might have been episode 7. It doesn't matter. There was a deleted scene where it opened with Luke Skywalker's severed hand still clutching Anakin's lightsaber, floating through space, and it being picked up by a scavenger. And it was the opening scene was basically going to explain how Maz came in possession of Anakin's lightsaber.
With the hand?
With the hand. But then it was going to be that the hand and the lightsaber got separated, and that is what Palpatine used to then start cloning himself. But they decided to cut it because they think it doesn't make sense. But I think it actually would have made a lot of sense if they would have kept it in.
Yeah, it would have been better than, hey, somehow Palpatine is back. That's literally a line in the ninth episode.
Literally, it was the only explanation of it was Kylo Ren walking through a laboratory of clones that progressively went from looking like Snoke to Palpatine to then him discovering Palpatine, which was bullshit.
So is Snoke just a failed clone of Palpatine?
Yes.
Is that what Snoke is?
Yes, what he was.
Oh. I didn't gather anything. From
Yeah,
those stories-
I
those
never
movies.
would have known that.
They did not.
I
They
kind of
did-
don't believe you. That's how much.
I know.
they
I know.
didn't
But, well, the
even
reason
allude to
the
that.
reason is because
Well, he's messed up looking. I mean,
I thought he was an alien.
that's
yeah.
what,
Star
I thought he was
Wars
just a different
alien.
species.
But
Yeah.
if you in the beginning of episode 9, when Kylo gets to that planet called a name I can't remember.
Mustafar.
None
Nope,
of
not
us
it.
care or
Yeah,
know.
he
No,
is.
it's the like
It's
it's
Butakata.
it's the
No.
Sith planet, right?
I know.
Korban.
Nope. Not
Kylo.
more bad.
Korban is a planet, though.
I know it is.
Kylo Ren,
Kylo.
Planet he found. Palpatine.
Kylo
Is
Ren.
this how all
Oh,
Canadians Google shit?
With full sentences.
Oh,
yes.
Excuse me,
Palpatine.
Google, can you please tell me into the direction
Rise
of the planet?
of-
Oh, hey there, Google. Which way do
Let's
I go
do-
here? Fuck.
Rise of Skywalker Sith planet is called Exegol. That's what it's
isn't
called.
a thing. I don't.
It-
Even
it's a real
canon.
planet. So
I was
when he
hoping
gets
it
to
was going to be a
Exegol-
good name.
Yeah, like
Well,
come on.
you
we
were
need to put
looking in
George
the wrong
Lucas back in
place.
This is
charge
the
of
wrong
naming these
movie
planets.
series.
when he gets to Exegol is when he then goes through all those the test tubes of the little embryonic cells of what is Snoke, which transitions into like a better looking quotation marks Palpatine to him then discovering Palpatine.
And we were supposed to gather that as it like pans
so fast.
so fast in the last movie when we've already forgotten about Snoke and don't give a shit.
Yes.
But also, like, why are they cloning him to that state in his life? Why not to like when he
His
was
prime.
Yeah, in his
younger?
prime.
Yeah.
failed. It was failed.
When he's a
clones.
handsome young lad.
What?
Come on.
Failed clones.
So they just decided to settle with the one, and they're like, "Well, we'll just take a bunch of tubes in
Well,
his back."
It was
Snoke was way better than the Palpatine
I know,
that
I know,
they
right?
had.
Yeah, Palpatine was on life support. He was like,
Yeah,
Well, here-
very
he was a
okay.
good.
vegetable.
Here's my like again like in Legends and throughout Star Wars history, right? One thing, okay, I want to say
In Legends, isn't Wentworth Miller the good guy too?
Yes.
What?
DC Legends.
yeah, I
Legends
get
of Tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on. So, like one thing with Legends is the Sith had always existed, right? There's always people, Jedi rather I should say, who were corrupted by the dark side, who bled into it, who said, "I'm gonna follow this way now." What the Skywalker saga, as they're calling it now, has done is that there's only one bad guy. His name is Sheev Palpatine, and he's the one who's been controlling everything for like forever, and he just keeps cloning himself. And that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why do that? Like, you had Darth Maul, you had Count Dooku, you have Legends that talks about Darth Plagueis and other.
Well, and even then, it still follows the rule of two. Like
It does.
like to a pretty close.
Yeah, but why couldn't it like the story couldn't okay, I'm gonna rewrite it myself. Why couldn't it just been that Ben Solo was enamored seduced by the dark side and turned to it, right? Just like Anakin Skywalker did.
Right.
Right.
And like Luke had the choice to do.
And
but he
Luke
chose
Skywalker
the
had
other
the
way.
exact same choice and decided not to because he said, "I'm going to be a Jedi like my father before me." Right?
Right.
Why didn't Ren or Ben just not make the right decision, fall to the dark side? Boom, he's a new Darth, whatever you want to call it. Right?
And he's the one that has the total power. Or
And he
Snoke,
resurrects
Snoke
shit.
has nothing to do with Sidious, and
fuck
and he's
Snoke.
no. Let's just say Snoke is just the new villain who like came to power. He has nothing to do with Sidious.
I was cool with that.
And
That was
I
fine
was
with me.
cool with that.
I like that
I was
too.
totally fine with that. And then Kylo's his apprentice. Like he's the one that's working in the shadow now that Sidious is gone, and this guy has just come up. Like
But
what's
then,
wrong with that?
and
What-
the entire
What's wrong
time,
with a new regime?
exactly,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
what
and
the
that would've
first
made
order,
sense.
the first order was supposed to be.
that's
Oh,
what
right?
that's what would have made sense.
You know what line? My favorite. I fucking hated that line in was it episode 9 when Hux is like, "I was the spy."
Yeah,
He literally says it, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
because the entire time he's just like, literally, he has in episode 7, right? He has this very powerful, very Hitler-esque speech where he's like, rallying up the troops. Boom, they knock out like 15 fucking planets, right? And then at the end of it, he's like, "Actually, guys, it was me. I was your confidant."
but the line, "I was the spy."
yeah,
Right.
And then he
When he like
justifies
shoots
it-
2 guards and then looks at the maker, just like,
and then he
It's like,
justifies
man,
it
you
with
really
that,
really
like-
made a difference today.
I'm ashamed that I made it that far in
Right.
the movie. And like, but yeah, he totally like
right.
He's
wiped
like, I
out
don't want-
15 planets.
I don't
and was
want
like, "I'm
you
the
to
spy."
win. I want Kylo Ren to lose. That's how he justifies
Right.
it. It just made
But
no sense.
the thing-
You're gonna
also
sabotage your own
the
side
thing,
for this.
another problem with that trilogy though is like it's basically run by two people playing tug of war to see who can make the worst movie. Like that's kind of what's happening.
Okay, here's
like,
what I will say. Here's what I will say. I'm a fan of J.J. Abrams mostly. I will say he paved the way, which granted he just copied and pasted without making like he copied and pasted the New Hope movie and said, hey, here's what we're going to do now. Ryan Johnson came into it and said, fuck you, JJ. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to make droids say shit that they shouldn't be saying. And I'm going to make pointless characters. And I'm going to make a pointless plot that literally means nothing because the bad guys are still going to win. And then everyone went, that fucking sucked. And then JJ said, look at this garbage I have. I'm going to try and make it into something good. They should have walked away. They should have.
No, but I mean, like, listen, it's not like The Force Awakens was that great of a movie.
It
Like,
wasn't
I'm
that
not
great,
even.
but it's
I
better.
thought it was the best movie of the three, but like,
It was all set up. It's like I came away from it thinking like it wasn't great, but it set up the next two to be pretty good.
You know
And
what?
they
it could have
didn't
been.
cash
It
in
could
on
have been
at all.
They could have been, and they went. And in my opinion, they went the wrong way on every choice they could have made.
Yeah.
I agree.
It was
yeah,
like
for sure.
it's like if you made the opposite choice of everything they did, you might have a decent movie.
Hey, here's a question for you. Actually,
10 seconds go.
I know, not really yet, quite yet, but A New Hope. Pretend you're back in 1977. Do you think that's a standalone movie by itself?
No. What?
Do you think after that ended, in your mind, do you think there has to be a sequel?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
I think it definitely could have been a standalone movie.
Right.
And I think they're bracing themselves for the fact that this might flop and it could be a
That's
standalone.
exactly what Lucas was doing. But
Or it could keep going.
yeah, but of course we were born multiple years after it had premiered, so we knew there was more movies.
Because, dude, like they blow up the Death Star, which is like the pinnacle. You don't know what happens to Vader or anybody.
Yep.
And then they're giving medals out, and it's like, okay, they won and they restored peace.
Yeah, they
It's
definitely
like,
Yeah.
they
left
could have
it-
definitely just like
Yeah, they
ran
left
with
it
that.
to be open for a sequel, but it didn't have to be a
I
sequel.
mean, no,
It could have been
I
Rebellion
don't
1
even
end of
know-
story. You know?
I don't even know that it was that left open for a sequel. I mean, like it was left open as in the fact that you didn't witness Vader die or something
Yeah.
like
Fair
that. Like,
enough.
because there is no
What is
Sidious.
what is
Like,
Luke
there's no Emperor
Skywalker's
Palpatine.
what is Luke Skywalker's arc without the other?
Well, his
Two
arc
movies.
is his
Very
dad was a
short.
hero. He wanted to get out of Tatooine where he had like a nothing life, and then he beats the Empire by using the Force, and that's a pretty satisfying character arc in and of itself. You know,
to more so, it wasn't even established until Empire Strikes Back that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker, who was
Right.
Luke Skywalker's father. So that wasn't Darth
that's
Vader
true,
wasn't meant to be in the original storytelling. He wasn't meant to be
but
Luke's father.
But even still, he could have been, and like not knowing that like doesn't make a difference to the story though.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause still, oh, my dad-
I know
like-
that's what I'm saying. It
like-
doesn't
like him not knowing that doesn't make a difference actually at all.
exactly, which means it didn't have to be a sequel. So what I'm trying to say is bring
Yeah.
it full circle. The Force Awakens, very much so. Like there's going to be another one, right?
Okay, but
Yeah.
but Disney's not going to stop making the movies.
Obviously, they're not.
honestly, I think it's just 100% to sell merch. Like the story, it's
Yeah.
like the story was so bad. There's no way to redeem. Be like, here's what we meant to do with the story. You didn't mean anything with the story. You wanted to like make newer robots, new cute fluffy creatures on whatever new planets you have,
Right.
and sell that.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you think it was just a cash grab?
Yeah,
That's fair.
there's-
Yeah, and the thing is,
Oh,
That's
I'll show you
business.
them.
That's
If they
business,
had
though.
given,
That's
if
business.
they had given
It's like
two
fan
shits,
service,
it could have been
you know?
okay.
but they've already made back that money, right? The $4 billion.
Oh yeah.
So they've already, if
More
they've already
than-
made it back, then just please, Disney, stop.
No.
Like,
Well, stop with the Skywalker story
Yeah.
because I like the Mandalorian. Boba Fett was
Yeah,
It was
not
alright.
what I hoped it would be, but it was all right.
Kenobi's gonna be fucking
Kenobi's
amazing.
gonna be fire, and I honestly would love to see the Ahsoka show
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's going to also play a very heavy part in where Star Wars Rebels left off, and I would like to see a conclusion to that story.
Do you know what I want to see more than anything? I want to see an Old Republic something.
I want to see
Like a Game of Thrones
I
style
would
Old Republic
love
show would
an
be
Old Republic
amazing.
show.
Dude, those are my favorite games. That's
I
like,
mean, okay.
for me, that's Star Wars.
I
Like,
know
growing
it
up, that's what I
wasn't.
always
I
played.
know it wasn't like Game of Thrones style, but and again, it wasn't like. Sorry. Do you think the Clone Wars was their attempt to do that though?
I mean,
TV
maybe,
show.
but like just the Star Wars Old Republic stuff is just so cool because there's an equal number of Jedi and Sith. So just seeing that
Oh, you
play
mean
out,
Old Republic?
yeah, Old Republic, like Revan and like
Mm.
Darth Bane and all that kind of stuff.
That would be.
Dude, like a Game
See,
of
but
Thrones,
I'm-
like 2,000 years before
dark kind of ominous. Or
I'm totally for that.
Great.
It's like
I would-
it's
I would
the
get behind
Republic
that.
and it's the Sith Empire fighting.
Okay,
and,
so
like, for power. That'd be awesome.
There's the trilogy of this trilogy book of Darth Bane.
Yeah, I've read 2 of them.
When
I was in middle school. Yeah.
One I can't get my hands on.
I read 2 and I read 2 and 3.
I read 1 and 2. I can't get
Dynasty
hands.
of Evil and like I forget what the second one.
It's-
Rule of 2 was Rule of 2.
Rule of
Dynasty
2
of
and
Evil.
Dynasty
I don't
of
remember what the
Evil.
first one was.
It's
But they were so good, man.
I
Dude,
can't
the
remember.
Revan book is so good. They wrote
it?
it when like the Old Republic MMO
Right.
RPG came out, and it's just amazing. Like if
Yeah.
you've played the games, you'll like because the main like Revan and then the main character from Knights of the Old Republic 2 are both in it.
Oh, nice.
And it's just like if you played those games growing up, it's just so nostalgic
Yeah,
and
it's
it's just
beautiful.
amazing. All
Ah,
the characters.
that's
are
doing
in
it right. See, that's
so good.
I think really in reality, Lucas has even said it, that's what it was supposed to be. He made something. It was beautiful in what he did, and then he said, "Be free," and he wanted.
Well, no, he sold it to Disney.
No, I'm talking about before.
Oh, okay.
Before he sold it to Disney, before he got money signs in his eyeballs, he said, "Let it be free."
He could have
let the
sold it to a
fans do
different
it."
company, and it could have had a better result.
Yeah,
no other,
Disney's like
but no other
Disney
company
is
had the
Satan,
price
man.
tag he had. Though. I mean, that's the problem, though. And again, it all comes down to a cash grab, and for him and for Disney, whoever it is. And I'm just saying, before he decided to sell it, it was just a free form where anyone could write a story about it, as long as it didn't, completely contradict anything he had written or wrote or filmed. He was like, let it happen. And actually, there's tons of sources where he didn't want to direct his movies because he knew
He only directed 2 of them. I think.
Exactly. He's like, I'm not a director. I'm a visionary in a way.
Isn't 5 the one he didn't?
He's
direct?
a world builder.
Yeah.
I thought he directed.
He directed a Phantom Menace and I
New
think
Hope,
a
I
New
thought.
Hope. Yeah, but it wasn't for a lack of him trying to get other people to direct it. He understands himself and he was like, I can't make what I see in my mind become real. So he tried to get other people to do it, but other people were like, only you can do this. And yeah, we got what we got. But anyways, besides the point, we have berated this to ad nauseum at this point. I do have this a segue here for all of us to move on to something else. A little quick showdown, SmackDown. Darth Sidious, as we talked about him a little bit, Palpatine versus Lord Voldemort.
This is kind of like the Darth Vader Harry Potter thing we had going a couple weeks ago.
But
It
they're
was
both
Anakin
like
Skywalker, but
just
yes,
like the bad guys.
but now it's 2 bad guys against each other. Who, as we know, because before it was Anakin Skywalker in his prime, it was Harry Potter in his prime. They're good guys, right? This point is Darth Sidious and Lord Voldemort in their prime. Okay, caveat here. Do we want to be Voldemort pre-Harry Potter or after Harry Potter? Like in the sense of like before he tried
I
to
get what you're saying.
Yeah, before he tried to kill Harry Potter, or while Harry Potter and him are duking it out. Like which
I think he's more powerful while
they're
Harry Potter,
duking it out.
okay, very good. So prime Lord Voldemort,
Both in their prime.
both in their prime. That means that they don't care who dies. They will kill whomever they need to get what they want. Who is going to win?
I feel like Voldemort. My
Why?
mind goes to Voldemort straight away
Okay, I want to know why you say that.
because when they're both in their prime, if you just make sure Sidious is dead instead of throwing him down a lightning tube, then like you can make sure he's dead and kill him.
But technically, he was dead, wasn't he? Because then he just cloned.
But like Voldemort would like stick around and be like, "You're dead," and there's not a lot. If we're looking at like Palpatine, I doubt he could track down all the Horcruxes if he's dealing with like a much bigger scaled world.
Do you think he would hire people to find the?
That's what the whole empire has put in place for.
Yeah,
that's why
Horcruxes.
that's why they're going in and like taking over planets to look for Horcruxes and stuff.
Yeah, I still think they wouldn't find them.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't know.
So your
And
money is on
also
Voldemort.
the way to get rid of
Yeah.
them is very complicated and hassle. But
A little bit. Okay, so Joel.
None of them are from the House of Gryffindor, so they can't.
right,
get
it's
the
like,
sword.
oh, I don't have the sword, and I
It's
don't
true.
have a basilisk nearby,
Yeah.
so I can get its teeth.
Who
Or
who do I have to contact to get a hold of one of those? It's like,
Right.
well, the guy you're trying to kill.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of hard.
He knows, but he also probably won't say anything.
I'm not telling you what a basilisk is.
Right, and then you have to kill a little boy named Harry Potter
And like
Also-
6 other things.
and
Yeah.
and a snake.
Okay,
His
so
ba-
Joel, who do you think? What's your opinion on?
So I think Darth Sidious because I think that like his ability to manipulate everyone around him is just ridiculous.
I agree with that.
Like, he is the emperor. Well, I mean, he's just like, in a way, he's like the president, basically.
Okay.
Before he's an elected official.
Okay, he's the chancellor.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, like, but what I'm saying is he's the elected official,
Right.
in charge of the Galactic Senate,
Correct.
right? Okay, so like that, he is basically leading all of the good guys while he's also leading all of the bad guys.
Absolutely.
He's leading everybody, and nobody seems to no one's even aware of it because he's so powerful. He's able to hide that from other people who can sense in the Force.
No.
I can't see, like, I don't think Voldemort has anything like anywhere near that type of power. Like, I just think like that alone makes Palpatine like the.
So basically, his ability to hide within the shadows.
Well, and his manipulation of everyone he's around, whether good or bad.
Right. Okay. So
Like he could have all of the Jedi out looking for the Horcruxes because they're taking this as a order from the Chancellor. You know what I mean? Like, or something like that. Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
he could have the good guys fighting a war against all of the wizarding community because he made up some like
he deceived them.
like
enough to think,
the wizarding community is sitting on a giant oil mine that they need to run Coruscant. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
what I'm saying. Like he would make up some scenario where
would find a
he
way.
has the people who he has working for him are the people who he's against, but he doesn't care. Like they're just puzzle pieces for him to get what he wants. I think he would destroy Voldemort, honestly, but
Okay.
I don't know.
No, honestly, I gotta say I agree with you. I'm gonna go ahead and skip a turn. I think you're right because I was going to say very, very similar things. Actually, I think Voldemort powerful. He's very dominating in who he is,
And he should not be named.
Right, exactly. Finding his followers, keeping his followers, maybe just out of fear alone, but.
They do, yeah. They're only there because they fear him.
Exactly, but with Palpatine, it's different because people are following him to a degree of loyalty
under the impression that
that they trust him, right? And more to that point, I'm gonna go just full send it because I can't stop with Star Wars. Is Palpatine started the Clone Wars to distract the Jedi. Right, it was all part of his
time
plan.
waster.
It's a build. Actually, not even that. Yes, but also to the point where he wanted to, with all that turmoil in the galaxy, the light side of the Force was clouded. So that's why he was literally able to be right underneath their noses because all that darkness in the galaxy was preventing the Jedi.
Yeah, but it's not even that he's right underneath their noses for me. It's the fact that he's telling them what to do.
And they're listening, right?
And
yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
doing it.
Yeah,
it's like,
100%. And so for that same reason, I have
not to mention he has a whole army just in place to take them out as soon as he decides it's time.
Well,
Exactly,
no,
exactly.
like he has a whole army that's there to fight the other army that he has programmed to switch sides.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So
it's like they'll switch from his side to his side. It doesn't matter.
And that's the great thing is like they'll kill either side of his allegiance when he tells them to, right? Yeah, because at that moment they're clearly killing all of the clankers, the droids, because that's what he tells them to do. But they think, these Jedi are a little bit of a nuisance now, so get rid of them. That's pretty OP for me in that regard. So I go with him. Noah, what do you think?
As far as Sidious versus Voldemort,
Yeah,
I think, and I know this is gonna be weird because I picked Anakin to beat Harry Potter. But I think I'd actually give it to Voldemort.
Whoa.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll clarify. If we're going long game, I'd agree with Joel. Sidious is just way more manipulative.
Yeah, but if it's just like a one-on-one.
If it's just, it's one-on-one. Because, here's the thing. Sidious isn't going to get close enough to use his lightsaber. I think it's going to be a battle of abilities. It's going to be Force versus magic. Yeah. And Voldemort has an insta-kill. He's got Avada Kedavra. He can just go Avada Kedavra, done. And I don't think Sidious has a way to block that because it's Force versus magic. And I don't know if those
that's my question. Is like, because I know that in Harry Potter there's no way to block it.
Yeah, that's actually where it hinges on for me. Is if the
but
Force can
does that mean that a
then
different type of
it'd
power?
Be close. I think either way to be. Okay, if you take away Avada Kedavra and the lightsaber, I think it's close.
Okay, I have a question real quick.
I
got a quick question. These people, Harry Potter, Star Wars, very different universes. are we going to say that the Force is equal to that of the magic, or are we not?
I think
you
they just have to be what they are.
Let them be.
They just are what they are.
Okay, but that is fair. But
like Sidious could lightning Voldemort, but Voldemort has like an instant kill curse.
Okay.
You know,
That's
it's
fair.
like so Sidious could like do that all he wants, but Voldemort could just send a
Right,
Kedavra.
but he could also force choke him, and like if he has now again, I don't know what force abilities existed before when they were shown in a movie, but like Kylo Ren has the ability to stop people moving, like they're frozen in place. Like if he has that ability, then the spell is useless.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying he does. I don't
able
know.
To like counter each other with their like if Sidious can counter a magic attack with the Force, and if Voldemort can counter a Force attack with magic, I think it's a wash. I think it's either way. I could see either of them winning.
Yeah,
it. But if it's like if they don't block each other, I think Voldemort gets it like a slight edge.
That's
as long as he's able to get that
but
Avada
okay, with
Kedavra
the
off.
healing curse, does it have to come down to it hitting Sidious? Like, does the
you'd
impact
have
has
to
to
hit
be
him.
hit?
He's not
So
like
you have to hit him.
bad
It's not
Jedi.
just
right. Because my question with that is like with the curse, it's not just like Voldemort just can't say it and boom, he's dead. Like the curse has to hit him.
It's
right?
got to be directed at.
How hard is it to aim a wand at somebody? Even if you're being choked or electrocuted.
Yes, but think about this: as much as a factor with the Force, Palpatine's able to move pretty quickly.
Yeah,
you know?
he does have that.
That
like,
is
he does
true.
jump around.
Does Voldemort ever get hit though? Like, other than in Order of the Phoenix when he's fighting Dumbledore, and he gets like in that water ball or whatever. If we're looking at the movies, does he ever like sustain a hit?
Other than the clashing,
and even then he's never like, ah.
Other than the end of the Return of the Jedi when Vader turns on him, does Palpatine ever sustain a hit either? Like
Mace Windu. Is that what you're talking about?
I think he was toying with Windu.
He was because he wanted Anakin to see him weak and defenseless.
But we see him
back to his deceptiveness.
Yeah,
I don't know that I fully buy that, but I mean I do think Windu was a powerful Jedi though. But
I mean, he gets all shrivelly and stuff. We see his form change. We don't see Voldemort's
okay, that is
change.
true because we do see his form change.
Well, we see him go from like being nothing to being like reborn into like the most powerful. Like Dark Wizard.
Well, one thing that I want to say that you reminded me of, Noah, is like, after like let's just say I don't know if this were a longer fight and we were saying the magic was a wash, right? Like, no one in Harry Potter has a weapon.
That's true. Yeah.
After magic, they are nothing. So like, whereas like, Sidious is trained in a saber, like a dueling. Fight like a method. Like
it could be another one of those. You get the wand away.
It's like let's just take magic out of it. Then that's obvious. I mean, like,
there's no magic.
I know. I just in this hypothetical, but like, there is no other weapon for him after magic.
Yeah, that's true. Unless he gets a sword out of a hat, like Harry
Potter.
Here's a
question.
He wouldn't. He's not a very good Gryffindor. He's a Slytherin.
No. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to totally diverge here. Down the middle, Joel and I, Sidious, no one will.
I'm kind of on the fence. I think it'd be a wash.
I think if you're talking 1v1, I think Voldemort, they have all their abilities.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
If it's just like, if you can't block the spell, I mean, he can still move. He can still maneuver around it. Like,
but if you've got there's both starting points and they have all the time in the world, I think Sidious.
Right, but the thing is,
I agree with Will.
I guess the reason why I thought of the long con type of thing is because in Harry Potter, like, Voldemort isn't just 1v1ing people. Like he's building up his army and like re-getting all his Death Eaters and doing all that stuff. It's not like in a story, it just wouldn't be like that 1v1 matchup. Like
that's fair. But here's my question: they mention either in the book or the movies, maybe both. Excuse me. That once a wizard or witch becomes powerful enough with their magic, they no longer need their wand. Right, the wand is more of a way of them channeling the magic. But Joel, I know you're reading the book, so I want you to confirm or deny this for me. Why is it then that Voldemort still needs his wand if he is his all-powerful wizard?
I don't really know. I haven't gotten to a point where they've said that they don't need their wands, but like
I think I remember reading that.
Okay. No, I'm sure. I'm sure it happened. I'm not saying that it isn't, and I totally get that because there's also times where they don't have to say the spells.
Right.
This is where I have a lot of questions.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they don't need to say.
Because I actually think saying the spells is really stupid. But this kind of brings me to
more of a warning.
Some points. What?
it more of like a warning? You think?
I just
Like,
mean
it
like
gives it
you just
away?
sitting there like saying the same thing over and over again, like stupefy, stupefy, stupefy. Like that's so stupid.
I
Like
would feel
it's-
stupefied.
yeah, I know, right? It's like, but like you hear like that's literally kind of how some of the dialogue goes in
Yeah.
fight scenes in Harry Potter. But this brings me to some
True.
questions about magic in Harry Potter.
Okay, let's hear
Like,
it.
I have a couple of things that I want to say, but like one is like,
Well, you only get a few, so
okay,
be careful.
no, that's fair. What is the magic coming from? Because to learn a spell,
Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
they just say this is the spell, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna say it. It's like there's no learning beyond just learning the word.
Well, you gotta flick the wand a certain way.
You got
you gotta
flick. Is it what, flick?
Flick and swish.
I
Yeah,
get what
flick
you're
and
saying, but
swish.
that's only in the movie. Like I
Well,
don't.
if you have that mobile app,
Yeah.
there's.
I got an
certain
answer for
patterns
you. It's
Yeah.
demons because Harry Potter is demonic.
Oh, hold on, Joel. I have a question. I actually have. This is more of a conversation with you. So,
I wanted Joel to continue. Can we take a vote?
Yeah, I want Joel.
I'll
to
continue with
flesh
my
this
stuff.
out.
But
he-
what
do
do
you
you
have
say?
more to say?
I have more stuff to say about
Yeah.
different things, but just
But
go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the magic thing. Is it, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is it very similar to like? You're right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Is it much like where like the four? I don't mean to bring it back to Star Wars. I always do. Is it very much like Star Wars to the Force with magic?
like midichlorians.
Yeah,
or
because
like
they're
it's genetic.
There are
The thing-
muggles and there are wizards and witches where like a muggle could say stupefy, but it doesn't mean shit.
Right.
To a
Well, I
muggle.
feel like first of all, it kind of has to be because
Right.
you can have two people who are muggles have a kid that's a wizard. I don't really know how that's possible without a genetic like defect or like a genetic
It's a
mutation.
recessive gene.
Right.
But-
Right.
Okay, I was going to ask you: is it not a recessive gene? Does it not like?
They don't say that, but I mean,
Oh,
like
I thought maybe I felt.
they don't say anything about that. But like,
That
But
or
I guess
Hermione's
that's
mom
far.
was a whore.
Oh. Boop, boop, boop.
but I didn't want to say anything.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so back to your question of like, is it?
Well, I just don't understand like what because like so I was thinking about this. I was like, so if I were a wizard in Harry Potter and I wanted to make a spell that did something, right? How
Did
would
you
I
make your own spell?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Some people
sorry.
do. Like okay, so I made some words that are a spell, but what if somebody accidentally uttered those words in that order? Or like what if
Who
you know what I
wasn't
mean?
a wizard?
No, but
Does
what I'm
it
saying-
become public
but What I'm
domain?
saying is because if they're not, I know there's no intention behind it or whatever, but like what is bringing this magic to be? Like
It has to be an innate genetic thing inside them, right? It has to be something.
but they
within
don't
them
say that. They don't say that ever though.
I've got the
I,
magic.
is it just supposed to be understood?
I
you
don't
think.
I don't know
Because think about like 9 3/4, right?
no, I
Harry
understand.
Potter goes
and
and
also
goes,
like
"Where
I just
is-"
want to preface. I understand that I'm trying to bring reason into Harry Potter.
That's fine.
But, like-
no, I want
No,
you
that's
to.
part of that's where fun happens.
Yeah.
Right. But like it just really bothers me because it's like so Snape made a spell that like when he was in the school or whatever
Sanctum Sempra.
yeah and like he wrote it
Say
he-
that one more time, closer into the mic, please.
Sanctum Sempra.
Okay. What does that spell do?
it just like causes you to like bleed everywhere like I don't know something like
Nice.
that like it
I like
happens
that.
to
I guess
For-
I never
for
thought that. Like, how do you
enemies.
make a
he
spell?
hits that's what he
Yeah.
hits so Harry reads the word on the page, no idea what it's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Like
oh, yeah.
somebody just made that spell up. They said like this is a spell. Maybe in the book it actually explains the spell. I don't know. In the movie it doesn't. I haven't gotten there in the books yet. But like
Time out. Sorry, where are you at in the books? I'm just curious.
I'm in the fourth. I'm halfway through the fourth book.
Which is,
Goblet of
Goblet of Fire.
gosh, it is. Okay. go
Yeah. So like I don't understand why that word has any power by itself, without understanding what it does or what like without the intent behind it or what is it that's causing this because like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could just say anything, and it would cause something to happen.
Yeah, because remember when he reads it to Hermione in the movie, he's like, "What's this spell mean?" Sanctum Sempra, and then she's like, "Don't say that."
Right.
Or whatever. Like, you don't know what that could do. Like, what if his wand just went off as he said it? Like,
Yeah.
what makes that?
Like or like you're
happen.
watching some show on TV, and you're like, "Oh my God, what's the Wiggles?" And then that's a spell. You know what I mean? Like you didn't know that was a spell, but it killed everyone in the room
So,
like
okay.
way more
So
efficiently
are
than
we
Avada
going
Kedavra.
with the idea then that like with magic there also has to be intent involved?
No, I just need to I don't know why. I need
That's
to
a
understand.
question. I'm
Like-
asking that question to you guys. Do you think that with magic, intent has to be like for you to say avocadabra.
I'm
you
not
have
saying it has to
think,
be
I'm gonna
intent.
Kill this person.
I'm not saying that it has to be intent, but maybe like there has to be somewhere where like an ancient tome
Yeah.
where like every spell has been written, and if it's not on this piece of paper, then it doesn't count, or you know something like that.
What if some guy made "excuse me" a
Right,
spell, and then
right.
like 1,000 people everywhere are like "excuse me," and then people just start dropping.
Yeah,
like
and then
flies.
everyone's like walking down the street and they all shift like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
the spell. Like, you know, I don't know like why.
Yeah, how do you create one? That's a
Right.
really
because
good
people
question.
create spells.
Yeah.
But it's like but
And
they're
how did
already
Severus Snape
Oh,
do
you-
it while he's in high school, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just
right,
crazy.
exactly.
You didn't know that was a spell, so you can't use it.
Yeah, no,
Doesn't
that's
work.
what I don't get is
Yeah.
because like so is it intent? Is it the fact that it's in some official database
Yeah.
where all wizards
There's like EBSCO hosts for wizards.
right,
EBSCO.
right exactly. So that was kind of one thought I had while
Oh.
listening to Harry
What else
Potter.
do you got?
I like that thought.
The other thing is the other main thing is like you know, I know that Harry Potter is set in the 90s, like it's not based right now, but like hypothetically it's still like 20 years later, you know, that's like the thing that happens at the end of the 7th movie in the book, and it like talks about how Harry is taking his kid to school with Ginny or whatever. So that's around like now. Let's just say it's around now.
I
like,
use gremlin goblin pronouns.
yeah.
They'd have to say that at the
Right.
beginning of every
Yeah,
one.
it's not about that so much, but like, you know, they have like 10 different forms of travel. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? They have like Porkies,
Flu
they have
network.
Aberration, they have Flu Network, they have broomsticks. They have they can just walk like normal people. They
Flying cars.
Yeah, flying cars.
What's it called when they like they shoot?
Apparate. or
Apparate?
So was it telepparate?
You mean when they disappear and they appear somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's apparating. That's
Apparating, yeah.
disapparating.
Man, I totally earlier today I was actually talking about that. I fucked up that word, but go ahead.
Yeah, but anyways, so apparating is obviously just like why would you use any other form of travel? If
Yeah.
But
But okay, isn't that apparating? Isn't that like the is it like one? Can you not do that until you're like a senior?
yeah, but there's like
the rules.
You have to like pass your test to whatever to do it. I understand that, but there are all these other forms of travel, and it's like
Yeah.
a lot of them suck compared to human travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
isn't
then-
like progressively getting better? Like throughout all even the movies doesn't, or the books even, doesn't the form of travel progressively get more and more advanced?
Yeah,
Just a question. I'm
semi
asking.
no, because like apparating is mentioned in like the 3rd book or something like that,
I
which
guess
is
I'm just saying,
good.
it
Which is
doesn't-
good because
Harry's
if it wasn't,
form
you'd
does
be
not-
like, why was this not mentioned
Mhm.
beforehand?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Why
Yeah.
why when they were going through fireplaces
Yeah.
did this? But like another thing is like, you know, Sirius talks to Harry through a fireplace. Like his
Yeah.
face like comes through a fireplace,
Yeah.
and he can like talk to him. I'm like, if you lived in nowadays, like almost everything these wizards do, you could do on an iPad. Why would you not just go with the human's way?
Yeah.
And they talk about like their money like being weird. I'm like, why is it weird? Like you convert money anyways. Like if you go to a different country or you know, it's like,
Okay, do you think? I'm sorry, I'm gonna be too fucking logical with all this. Do you think the reason she set it back in that time era was so that like, because you're right, most of the modes of transportation, not really transportation, but like communication.
no, it
like,
is,
even,
it is
like,
transportation. Like
it's something that's already been invented. Obviously, we can't teleport places, but like communication, for instance, like the fireplace, FaceTime, correlation. Like, do you think she had like? Let me set this back 20 years in the past because, or I guess at this point it's like almost 4 years in the past. What was it, 90s?
it was in the
So
90s.
it's 30 years in the past, whereas like, oh, this technology can't be invented yet because otherwise
But it's not.
wizards seem obsolete.
I mean, she wrote the books in the 90s. She started writing them in
I
the
think
90s.
she called FaceTime. She
Well,
called it.
you think she
maybe,
knew
yeah,
it was
maybe.
coming.
Well, and also like the fact that you can see moving images in the newspaper. Well, that's an iPad also.
Yeah.
Like
live
you
images
can
with
see GIFs as
iPhone.
you scroll through your
Yeah.
iPad. It's like I understand that's like the technology. I understand that it's funny to listen to it nowadays,
Okay,
like when it
so-
exists. But what I'm saying is like they fly on a broomstick in a time when there were definitely cars, and they use a train, so they do use a
planes.
human form.
It could have just been a
planes.
leisure activity, like, oh, I'm just gonna take a leisurely swing on the stick.
Okay,
you
okay,
know?
but that's
segue.
another thing. That's another thing. I'm like, why?
swing.
Like, there's a scene in the 4th movie when Harry's like doing that thing against the dragon, and
What
and
thing against the dragon?
the first first task or whatever.
Where he's got
Like where he's got to get the gold
get
egg.
the egg.
Yeah, away from the dragon. And after that dragon gets hit by the bridge or it hits the bridge and it falls, like Harry comes sputtering up like it's like, why is the broom not working now?
Should have got an e-broom.
Like like, oh, I got in there and I pulled the wrong wrong
he's got to like
bit
saw
of
it in half and look at the fibers and like realign them.
It's like,
Put
oh
oil
shit,
in
we're
it.
gonna need a broom specialist on this one. It's like, yeah, no, it's a broom. Like it's
Yeah.
not an engine of a car. Like it didn't get in a wreck.
Okay, but
It's-
is it? But to a degree, maybe that is what we're trying to figure out. Because maybe is it not just like here is an ordinary broom that had like a spell cast on it that allows it to levitate, i.e., fly, right? So maybe
Let's
now,
say that's true. Let's say that's true for what I'm saying.
We're going to say it's true. So now that it is damaged, burnt by the dragon, it's the broom itself is falling apart. So maybe it's losing its source of ability to sustain the magic.
Oh,
maybe?
so it's in the frilly part at the end. That's where the magic is.
The bristles.
The
That's
bristles,
the word.
the
That's the word I
bristles.
was trying to think of.
Sure.
Yeah, but
Maybe-
maybe no. I'm not saying you're
or
wrong.
just in the fact
I'm-
that the broom is losing its integrity, therefore it can no longer sustain the magic within it.
No, maybe that's it.
I don't know though.
We talked about a couple weeks ago. I think we talked about like what you would do if you graduated from Hogwarts and you didn't go work for the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
I think if you talked about like how a
Broom
broomstick
mechanic?
works now, and I
Right.
think broom mechanic. I like the idea of some
Somebody
guy who
who-
like I graduated from Hogwarts.
Like,
I go into Ace Hardware and I like
he dropped out
I
of
see
Hogwarts.
a-
He dropped out of Hogwarts.
I see a broom. And I'm like, oh, is this a 97?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they're like,
Nice.
oh yeah.
He's
I
like,
I didn't
actually-
think anyone else would know that.
He's like, actually, there was a lot of problems with the locking mechanism on the 97
He's like, yeah.
models.
These things don't get great magic mileage.
The braking wasn't that good.
you have to think. You have to think really hard, like a lot harder than you would in the later models.
See, a lot of the 1981 models, they're actually being used in stores by Muggles now.
Yeah.
They're getting good recycling.
Yeah.
I want to take us back for
They
just
have
a minute
no
real
idea
quick,
how-
back to Joel's question
We're
about
losing a lot of
spells.
money on that.
I did find an article here. It's on Harry Potter Wiki, so clearly it's the most.
Okay,
Up to
so a
date,
40-year-old man wrote it.
Yeah, and so it says here the nature of casting or creating a spell. It says only witches and wizards, which we said. It was
Well,
true.
I didn't disagree with that.
I know. With great understanding and of skill in
Understanding
magic,
of what? Understanding of what?
Understanding of magic
In general,
in general.
What does that mean?
Let me tell you. Let me finish. With a great understanding and skill in magic, we're known to be able to invent spells. It is. I love this. I love this sentence right here. It is unknown the exact process in creating a spell, other than the wand movement and incantation. So basically,
so say it and use your wand.
So basically,
Yeah, so
if-
basically
back to what
their
you
post
said-
has to go through an authentication process
No,
before
not-
it can go up on
Not
the
even
internet.
that. Not even that,
Like-
Joel. More to
Severus Snape built this in a cave.
with a box of scraps. Back to
With
what,
a broom handle.
back to what you said. Oh, no, it was a fucking twig, basically. But back to what you said, Joel. Yeah, it's like if anyone had the phrase "excuse me" and they move the wand to go back and
A
forth.
stick they found on the ground. They just
Exact-
committed a war crime.
Well, and also-
Exactly. Yeah. Boom.
And
Like
also-
war.
yeah,
All the
like-
Muggles die.
yeah.
But like if they have
A
like
Moab
is it the
curse.
wand that has the magic or is it the
I think it falls
wizard.
back onto the wizard
The,
and the
the
witch. because-
individual DNA strands.
Yeah, because I think based on Ancestry.com, I think what it comes down to is the wand is a channel. It's funneling the magic for them. Because I think
so someone just picked up a stick one day and and like someone was holding a stick and a feather from a bird in their hand.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It was just probably a pigeon or something like that. Like or a crow. Like they were just holding these two things in their hand one time, and they were
blended
like,
together.
the Wiggles, and then something happened.
Yeah.
Right? And
Basically, yes,
because
because then like
they go, this is really odd, but you know what? I learned that without these two things, I wouldn't have been able to get this thing out of
No,
me
yeah,
that
yeah.
I've been
What if
feeling
there's a-
inside.
because-
What if there's
like-
another noun that they could like obtain and they would have a next level magic understanding?
well, think about like
They grab a third thing.
like if you put both of your feet on the bottom like of a table, it's like whoa, now you can travel through time.
right.
You have an understanding now.
Well,
of
because
time.
Harry Potter in the very first movie, he didn't have control of his magic, right? Because
Right, and
he
the
was,
glass
Yeah, because
goes
he
away.
was like things would just happen and he couldn't control it. They're like, oh, you need your wand to help you control it.
Yeah, but that
Doesn't make any sense at all. Hey, okay, other than Harry Potter, is it known that wizards had wands?
What?
I don't
Like
think so.
any other like
I feel like
any other
wizards.
Fantasia?
I feel like wizards.
Like-
okay, you're right.
like a more like modern, but like really like 150 years ago
I mean,
type of thing.
If
like,
you go back to like druidic roots back in the place where that takes, like if you go to England,
Right.
in that area,
Maybe.
hundreds of years ago, I'm sure they have
Could be
depictions.
like-
I
of
think
it.
it's more like fairies that had the wands.
Right. Well,
You actually
Tinkerbell-
can't say that now. It's 2020.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tinkerbell
so true.
had a wand, but I'm thinking about like other like Norse wizards and all that. Like they didn't
Norse.
have wands.
Those are Vikings.
I know, but like they had witches and wizards
No,
back then, and they didn't have wands.
right, but like I think I feel like a lot of this stuff, a lot of witches, wizards, that sort of thing comes from people not understanding something in history, and like, you know, for example, like not necessarily that they were trying to pass as witches and wizards or whatever, but there were people who would go around selling like tonics and like different potions or different like things that are just drugs and you know, made up of things that people don't know about yet. Like, and
Yeah.
that's how they would like sell a bunch of stuff because people are like, "Oh, I've never heard of that before. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand this." It's like because they don't understand it, this like magic to them. And I think that's a lot of that throughout history is just people not understanding something. So to them, it's magic because
Yeah,
there's no
fair.
explanation for it.
Do you think like magic is that overarching like term that like describes something that is unknown?
Well, I mean, like for example, like magicians, you know, like the ones you'd go see in like Vegas or something like that. Like they're doing something that you're not able to see with your naked eye just looking at it, but they've practiced, and it's not magic. It's just
Sleight of
them.
hand.
Yeah, sleight of hand. It's them knowing different tricks to get you to say certain things. You know, it's just a complete like, you know, having seen more things like about that. Like you go watch that now. If I were to go watch that now, I'd be like, okay, well, I get how the trick's done, but I don't know. I didn't see it happen. Like, or
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like,
Fair.
but
Oh.
that's what I kind of feel like
Yeah.
that comes from.
Okay, I think I found a thing on like where the magic wand comes from. So, the Zoroastrian Barsum in the 9th century BC. So it's basically like religious rituals that they would have had, but you have like a stick or a bundle of sticks that someone holds for symbolic purposes. But since these Zoroastrian priests were also called like magi, the association drew between like magi or magic and things happening while they're holding a stick or bundle of sticks in their hands. So the association grew there between.
Well, that's
like,
true.
The
And
ritual of it.
honestly, like
Yeah.
I feel like a wand for a magician, like on a stage show, it's just a distraction or
For
of
sure.
some sort, or it's just a
Uh-huh.
prop to make
Yeah.
something look like it is like.
But now it's
It's
become.
it's for you to it's for your attention to be moved elsewhere,
Yeah.
which is actually
I
kind
like-
of the
yeah.
same thing as what you
Yeah,
were saying.
yeah,
but-
I like it. I like it. That's good. That's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, real quick. Well, 10 seconds. Go. Name 3 superhero movies that have. I'm sorry. Rephrase that. Let me name 3 superheroes that have magic for their power.
The Doctor Strange, Harry Potter, Hermione Granger.
Are they superheroes?
They're
They
heroes.
saved the day.
Okay. They're heroes in
I
the
don't know
low
if they're
degree.
super.
They're-
Hold
they're-
on.
Dr.
they're-
Fate, Shazam, those are two other
There you go.
Shazam,
That's what I was
does
thinking.
Shazam count as
I-
magic? I think that's like
Yeah.
lightning,
It is-
strength,
no,
flight. The
no. That's
Superman.
magic.
It-
That's
it's
magic.
definitely
Have you
magic.
seen the movie? It's all magic.
I was also thinking
All
I
of
was
the
thinking
superheroes
Doctor
are
Strange.
basically-
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
so Luke
Wanda.
Skywalker, Ray Palpatine, Ray Skywalker.
Right. Okay. We kind of brought it to a circle with that. All right,
A full
guys.
halo.
The full halo. The full halo of it all. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for another episode of DisasterMinds Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us, whatever it is that gives us that attention we're looking for.
If you want.
No.
If you
I'm-
don't, please just don't.
Just no. Actually, I really want you to do it regardless. I
Nice
don't
job.
care. Just do it. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.